Welcome to part 2 of Yakkin College Football's Oklahoma-Florida BCS Championship Game preview. So last time we covered the storylines and some of the little details of uh, the whole scenario. So let's get into the personnel of the two teams. Basically, I feel like, both teams are great teams. Anyone who would deny the quality of either team, I think, just hasn't watched enough football. We have Oklahoma coming in, having set a record for most points in a season, albeit a longer season than many teams who came before it. But fantastic offense for them. Florida's got both the offense and the defense. Two Heisman winners, one on each side. Great coaching on each side. But I feel like Florida has an edge in special teams. But much more importantly, the only real question mark here is Oklahoma's defense. There's a chicken and the egg kind of thing with the Big 12's offenses and defenses. Is it that the offenses are that great, or the defense is just pretty bad? And that goes for Oklahoma's as well. Winning games 60-40, while sometimes fun to watch, is not exactly what you want to do. So I think the answer is probably a little bit of both. I think Oklahoma's defense probably isn't fantastic, but they wouldn't have won all the games that they did if their defense were really that bad. And I'm sure they're going to be really pumped up for this game and to prove to their detractors that the Big 12, can play at least a little bit of defense. So I think that's really the big question mark. Can Oklahoma's defense slow down Florida enough to let Oklahoma's offense win the game? Because both these teams are going to score some points. To give a score prediction, I think that both teams are going to score between about 20 and maybe 45 points. I could see this game being 45-20 either way, honestly. Florida's got a great offense, tons of speed. Percy Harvin, Tim Tebow, and Jeff Demps. And let me mention that I'm a former cross-country and track athlete, and I know a good bit about the sport. And I knew of Jeff Demps' track exploits before I even knew he played football. And 10:02, a national record in the 100 meters for high schoolers, is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, Usain Bolt would smoke him, but he's 18, Demps is, or maybe 19. For a high school athlete, that is ridiculous. He could have gone pro in track immediately. I mean, he has more speed than pretty much any football player you can think of, except maybe Darrell Green or somebody. I mean, we're talking probably faster than Bo Jackson, faster than, name your running back. I mean, he's small, but he's as fast as you're going to get. So I have a lot of respect for the talent of Florida's offense. I think they're going to be able to score, but if they score enough is the big question. So I have to say, though, that the last thing I'm going to discuss, I think, is by far the most important, and that is that, I think at this level, both teams are great. Both teams have speed, toughness, great coaching. Say what you want about Stoops, but he's a great coach. He's won a national title. Both these teams are very, very good, but it's what happens between the ears and in the hearts of these players that I think is what's going to determine the winner. Um, and you know, I was really, I was really gonna pick Florida a few weeks ago. I thought Florida really had this one. They've got a better defense, better special teams, and the leadership of Tim Tebow and Meyer. In light of Oklahoma's recent struggles in big games, it seems like Florida's the obvious choice, and certainly I could see Tim Tebow and Urban Meyer leading this team to a solid, decisive victory over Oklahoma. But that said, I'm going to say something that I haven't heard a lot of people talking about, which is the the heart and mind of one Sam Bradford, Oklahoma Sooner quarterback. I watched the Heisman Trophy ceremony because, I think it's pretty fun, and I'm always sort of grasping for any college football I can at that point in the season because there isn't a whole lot left. Um, and the one thing I took away from it, other than how out of control Billy Sims was Sam Bradford's um, just mojo or vibe or whatever you want to call it. I mean, obviously he was, pretty excited and emotional during his speech, but before that speech, like, I almost couldn't believe my eyes when I looked at Sam Bradford in the audience and just the difference in him and Tebow. Tebow always has that sort of, semi embarrassed, semi wow, I'm so good little, you know, sort of reluctant smile on his face. And, McCoy, I have tremendous respect for McCoy. I'm going to make a whole video about him later. But Bradford had this peaceful, calm, and yet so focused look about him. He just, this look in his eyes, he was just so present in the moment, and I'm revealing here my interest in sort of Buddhist thought and Eastern thought and that kind of thing. But really, the first thing that came to mind when I saw him was that he looked like some sort of, monk or Eastern guru, just sitting there, just soaking everything in, just with this piercing gaze. And I know that might sound stupid, but I could just tell by looking at him that he's got, a lot of focus, a lot of inner peace. He was very much in the moment. And I don't know much about him as a person except that he played a lot of sports and he seems like a pretty good kid. But, just something to think about. I saw that look in his eyes that told me that, he's not going to get rattled. And I don't know what his relationship is like with the other players, but if they buy into his leadership the way that Florida is buying into Tim Tebow's, I could see him leading them to victory. And the other thing psychologically I'm going to talk about is, Florida, they come in battle tested. They just beat Alabama in a thrilling game. Um, and, they're really hungry. They're clearly hungry, ready for this game. But, I think it's going to be to Oklahoma's advantage that they've lost these BCS games recently. And really, nobody, I think honestly, anybody who knows a lot about football and has watched a lot of football this year should pick Florida because they have better defense. They've got Tebow. But I'm going to sort of contradict what I just said. And, I'm not even sure if I could call it a pick because I'm so torn. But something tells me that Oklahoma is going to come into this game, you know, in a way they're backing into the game in that, they were they sort of snubbed Texas. But, I think they are really tired of hearing people talk about Texas. I think they're tired of hearing about Tebow. I think they're tired of hearing about the BCS losses. And I think they're going to come into this game under Sam Bradford's leadership with a completely different sense of focus, focus, purpose, and drive than we've seen from Oklahoma teams as of late. So I can't say I'm picking Oklahoma because I'm torn. My mind says Florida, my heart says Oklahoma. But I guess if I have to make a pick, I'm going to go with my heart and say that Sam Bradford and an Oklahoma team very sick of hearing about their big game collapses and their lack of defense is going to come into this game a lot more focused than people think, and they're going to surprise a lot of Gators by giving them the fight of their life and come away with the title. So it's going to be a great game. We've seen so many great bowl games, and I hope this one is an exciting one and a memorable one. And I hope you all enjoy it. Please respond with comments, and I'll post another video after the game. Bye.